Welcome back to Creatively Enhanced Podcast, where we explore the heart of creativity and the stories that shape the art we see. I'm Chantel, and today I have the pleasure of sitting down with an incredibly thoughtful and talented artist, Christian Lubarsky-Ford. Born and raised in Phoenix, Arizona, Christian has always been a curious soul, asking big questions about life and the world around him. That natural curiosity, paired with a passion for creativity, led him to painting landscapes and figures that reflect those very questions. Christian earned his bachelor's degree in fine arts from Arizona State University, where he exhibited his work in several gallery shows and co-led art workshops for middle school students. He now teaches high school in art in the Phoenix area while pursuing. He now teaches high school art in the Phoenix area while pursuing a master's degree in art education. For Christian, the joy of creating art is matched by the fulfillment of passing on the passion to the next generation. Today, we'll take a closer look at the story behind his award-winning painting, Worthless Smiles, a deeply emotional and striking piece that is currently featured in the Global Expressions, a celebration of World Art Day, group exhibition running through May 31st of 2025. We'll unpack the inspiration, the process, and the powerful message behind Worthless Smiles and how Christian continues to blend purpose and passion in his work. So let's get started. Christian, it is so good to have you here with us on the Creatively Enhanced Podcast. I'm so excited to have you on the show. Before we dive into this powerful piece, the featured winning art piece of the show, Global Expressions, your work, Worthless Smiles, can you introduce yourself? Tell our listeners and tell us a little bit about who you are, not just as an artist, but I want to know, who are you as a person as well?
Yes. Hello. Thank you so much again for giving me this space. My name is Christian Lubarsky-Ford. I am 26 years old. I was born in Phoenix, Arizona, where the sun is blistering hot and the traffic is heavy, but we do have some of the most beautiful sunsets. So I guess that makes up for it.
Yes.
I am a high school art teacher as well as an artist. I've always loved art, even from like a young age. I remember doing like all these like crafts, drawing, painting. Like I made like duct tape wallets. And I was always given those like gift boxes that had a bunch of like art supplies in them. Every kid that like ever asks for art supplies or even shows any kind of interest in art always gets those. The ones that kind of have like dry out markers or they just like don't really work that well or they kind of break pretty soon. But I loved my family for supporting me so much from a young age. It's always nice to kind of remember back to that kind of time. But I mean, I wasn't really too sure that what was going to happen. I mean, I wanted to be an architect when I was young. So being here now, being a teacher and an artist, it's kind of surprising, but also kind of fun. I then went to college and decided on just being a teacher, and I can't say anything else. I mean, it was the best decision of my life.
Awesome.
I'm so happy to be here and teach kids. It's so hard sometimes because I teach high school and some of my kids are just such characters and it's so much fun just because I just love them so much. They light up my life, but also they make me want to pull my hair out. But I think that's what being a teacher is all about. But that's a little bit about me.
And I know being a teacher gotta be one of the most inspiring part of your creative journey, right?
Mm-hmm. It is. I mean, teaching art is something so interesting just because you learn all of these different kind of crafts, these different kind of like techniques, not just to be an artist, but to teach it to other young folk who want to be artists, who want to be creative. And
yes.
I mean, you even get to teach students that don't want to do anything with art at all, but they still got to take it. So it's fun, but it's also kind of, it's work. I love it. And these kids produce some of the best art I've ever seen, honestly. They are the most amazing artists. It's kind of crazy that they are so talented at such a young age. I mean, I don't think I was that talented.
Well, the skills show for itself, so I want to say you are definitely talented. That's really cool that even as a high school teacher, did you ever see yourself like when you were younger and you did the art kits and you wanted to be an architect, like at any point you would be a teacher?
Yes, I think it was around like sixth grade. I have no idea what came into my head, but I was like in class, I was doodling on my assignments and everything, and I looked up my teacher, and I was like, yeah, I could do that, and I could teach art. And I've made that decision. I've kept that decision. I've had people ask me like, why do you want to be an art teacher? And
Mm-hmm.
it's just something that I know. It was something in my heart and something
Mm,
that was telling me, "Oh, I'm supposed to be an art teacher." And
yeah.
I've definitely had moments where like I've questioned that reality. I mean, I've worked with little kids at the Boys and Girls Club. That was like my first like kind of real job, I suppose, a job that I like loved much. And I
Mm-hmm.
definitely came back from that job and looked in the mirror most days and was like, do I really want to work with kids for the rest of my life?
Yeah.
And the answer was always yes. I mean, it was so much fun. It's so much fun to see how you change someone's life and how
Yes.
important you are into those people's lives. And not just like the importance, but also just being there.
Right.
There's just a kind of magic to it that I
Mm-hmm.
feel that makes me feel so fulfilled. And I I want to continue that. I want to continue that kind of journey and inspiration for other students and other kids who want to be an artist, who wants to be a doctor or a scientist or even go into trade. They all kind of
Mm.
deserve an outlet. And I mean, why not art? I mean, art is amazing.
Right. That is very powerful to know that you are inspiring, the youth to grow into something creative, and you are the one that's handing them pretty much the paintbrush to go, here you go. This is
Yeah,
your world. I'm just giving you now all the tools and all the resources that you need to create. And you really are changing lives. There might be that one
I try.
student, yeah, that's like, I remember I was in art class and we learned about this, and now I'm a famous artist, or now I'm
Yeah.
pursuing a nonprofit for children in homelessness,
Oh
or
wow, yeah.
any area that just will make an impact, a dent into the world. And thank you so much for what you do for the children.
Well, thank
um,
you.
yes, you're welcome. That was very inspiring. Thank you for sharing your childhood experience getting tapped into the creative world. What does that look like for you when you notice, I'm going to be selling artwork? I want to be an artist. This is what I'm going to do on top of teaching. Like, this is it.
Yeah, I mean, I love that question so much just because I feel like I ask myself that all the time. I
Mm-hmm.
I really didn't think I was going to be an artist. I knew I was good at art. I mean, I look back at my pieces and I was like, I was really good. But I think I was also such a hard critic on myself to say,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I'm that good. And I knew I was going to be an art teacher, but I thought I was going to be like, oh, an art teacher who doesn't really know how to do art.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I think it happens kind of like you get hit by a car, kind of. I didn't get hit by a car, luckily, but COVID
Mm-hmm.
hit us just so
Mm-hmm.
hard. And
Mm-hmm.
I took a break from college and I didn't create any work for 2 years. It was a really hard time for me. I think it was a hard time for anyone. I was really deep into just this kind of hurt and pain. I was a little bit depressed at that time as well. And it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't until finally just telling myself, even my parents were just like, go back to school. That's what will make you happy. Like, you want to finish this kind of career and to be a teacher, to be an artist, like, do that. And I cannot thank them enough for telling me that. I was scared to come back, and having them support me so much, that was like the changing point in my whole life. I had went back to school and I started with one art class to kind of just like get the ball rolling, and that art class kind of just like changed my life. That was
Mm-hmm.
the art class that I made this piece, Worthless Smile.
Nice.
This piece, and it was in a painting class that I had with um a teacher that I hold very dear now, Carolyn Lavender, and
Mm-hmm.
she gave me so much support, but also challenged me as an artist. She understood me and what I was going through, and it was in making that piece that I kind of realized, oh yeah, I could totally be an artist. it was after that, the pieces that I were making involved kind of my story, that involved the kind of pain that I was going through. And it was just kind of releasing that kind of expression, that every piece that I made after that was just heightened that idea of I can do this
Mm,
for a living. And I've made some of
right.
my favorite pieces like in college. And now that I'm out of it, I can kind of just say I'm not just a teacher, I'm an artist. I want to be an
Yes.
artist. And I think I had to go through that kind of like hardship to kind of realize that. I mean, I was a hard critic on myself too, and then realizing that I do have supporters, I do have what it
Mm-hmm.
takes, and I do have the strength and confidence that I was able to overcome it, and I can finally kind of be free from it. And I
Yes.
think I want to tell everyone that is listening that if you do kind of like realize that you don't think you can be an artist, you certainly can.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to realize that for yourself and have faith in yourself and confidence and really go for it, because otherwise it's not going to happen.
COVID was very pivotal for a lot of people,
Mm,
either
agreed.
A, getting into the art field, or B, taking a break from art because COVID was very scary for a lot
It
of
was.
people. I lost many art friends during that time, and I just totally stopped doing art. I was in the middle of a mentorship with someone who, transitioned. Also, I even had to sit back and look at myself and go, okay, what am I doing with this? I really need to think about even just the way I'm selling my artwork. Because before,
Yeah.
I was able to sell out in an art show, and then afterwards, no one could afford to buy an art piece. So you were having to get very creative with digital products because no one wanted to touch, a physical piece because of germs and wearing masks. And so COVID was so pivotal for a lot of people that put artists back into position to what they're called to. And the biggest part of the pivot that I heard and what you said is your support system. And it started
Exactly.
with the people that love you the most, that saw and believed in your potential and pushed you into just taking that one art class that turned out to be what's going to be the rest of your life now. So,
Mm,
round of applause to you. And just moving into Worthless Smiles, when I first seen it, me and my team, it was like, wow, look at this. It just spoke so heavy because we all have those days where we're having to put on this performance. And I'm just going to give my interpretation, but of course, I want to hear
mm,
your thoughts behind it too. But when I first seen it, it was like having to put on this show before people who are all watching, and you were having to plaster a smile on your face, and you were forcing it by the holding of your mouth to go, okay, smile, and look at me, the spotlight's on me, but I'm not, my emotions are not what they appear to be. And so I thought that was really deep. And I would love for you to share with everyone what is the inspiration behind that piece. I know you kind of briefly talked about, one or two of your challenges, but just
mm.
that specific piece. What was the inspiration?
The it was kind of an assignment. The assignment was very broad. It was just like draw a portrait, and I was like, what's easier than drawing a portrait of myself? But it was at that time I was going through therapy. I had just gone through a very deep depression, not just because of COVID, but because of a past relationship and just how hard it was. Someone that like I thought I cared about and who I thought it cared about me. It was kind of devastating to kind of experience that and feel somewhat alone. I really felt like a shell of myself. And there was months, probably like half a year, where I just felt so kind of empty inside. And it was coming back to school and finally like expressing my art and everything that I was able to kind of start feeling better, especially being in therapy. But it was this opportunity where my teacher was like, draw a portrait of yourself or draw a portrait of somebody. And I drew a couple of sketches. And originally, this painting was actually going to be completely different. I had the original sketch actually had me with button eyes. I was holding my fingers weren't putting up a smile. My fingers were actually showing buttons over my eyes with smiley faces. And my teacher looked at it and She was like, this is really good. This is a great sketch, but like, how can we make it better? And we thought about it, we discussed it a little bit more, and then I changed it to the smile. And I'm so glad I did, just because that was who I am. That was exactly what I was doing. And I think the original sketch just like presented how scared I was to really present that kind of vulnerability. And when I finally was like, no, I really need to be vulnerable and show what I actually was doing, putting up this smile. Every time I meet someone, talk to someone, or just go out into the world, I was just putting up this smile from a facade, and I didn't know who I was anymore. And so I was kind of like putting myself in the spotlight whenever someone tried to talk to me, and I didn't know really what to do other than just smile and pretend everything was okay. So it was really hard to kind of face that. And as I was painting my own face. I was painting who I was. So I kind of had to face it. And when I was done, those dots on my shirt were probably the hardest thing I really did. And I was painting each one. And it was tedious, but after I was done, I kind of felt like this weight lift off of my shoulders. Not just because the piece was done, but because I was finally able to kind of face this reality of this was what I was doing and I don't want to do it anymore. And I kind of think back to it's not just me who does this, but it's probably everyone. It's anyone who goes through a hardship. And I wasn't quite sure if it was myself forcing myself or if this is what I thought I was supposed to do, if this is what society wanted to force upon myself or force upon other people to pretend to be happy, to act like everything was okay. It was that kind of question of, who are we? What are we doing if not just acting like everything is okay?
Even felt the weight of what you went through in painting that as you were describing it. It was like, whoa, because when you look at the painting, the choice of colors that you used are very deep colors. There's nothing bright about the painting, but there was a brightness to it, like almost there's some freedom on the other side of that. And even in your description and your process and your experience, even down to the details and how the weight lifted off of you. Yeah, you release that into your artwork, and that is the great thing about being creatively enhanced, as I call it, because it's like a superpower. We get to take what we're experiencing, and put it right onto the canvas, and the canvas speaks for us. The canvas releases our emotions. The canvas is a place to carry burdens and to carry all that we feel and what we take in on a day-to-day. It's a form of healing, as they say, right? Even though you may have healed and overcame that from 2 years ago, you never know, the next person who's sitting there who may have been thinking about unaliving themselves, see this painting and go, wow, what is the story behind this? And there you are telling the story. I hope someone listening, to this podcast is inspired to keep going and that it's okay and there's hope. Something else important that you talked about, not only in the therapeutic process of painting on this canvas, but also getting the right medical attention that you needed to take care of Christian. And that overall, like even when I'm mentoring other artists and even myself as a mom and doing 50,000 things, okay, I have to tell myself my mental health is super important because us as artists, we can't pour, we can't paint, we can't do anything from an empty cup,
I just wanted to really emphasize that if there are really any listeners who are struggling with feeling this way, who struggle that can't talk, who can't express themselves, please, do what you find that outlet for yourself. Talk to someone. Find that support. It's that support system that is strong. And if you feel like you don't have that support, you do. Hop into my DMs. I am more than happy to talk to you and share that kind of how I felt during that time, and I can try my best. And then there are phone calls, there are support systems and people who want to help you. But yes, I totally agree.
Thank you for saying that too, because I can definitely link some things in the description of this show for others who may be seeking help. And then, of course, we'll link in your social media accounts for those who may feel, inspired to reach out to you and chat. So thank you again for sharing something so personal with everyone, including myself. I feel so honored. Now, segueing into the side of business, because Creatively Enhanced Podcast is all about the business, although we are featuring your award-winning Worthless Smiles. Is there any advice for emerging artists getting started into going to art school, or maybe they want to sell some paintings and like a really secret formula that works for you? What can you share for our listeners today?
I think probably the best advice is be who you are. I've met a lot of artists in art school who struggled to kind of find who they were and figure out what they wanted to paint. That is what art school is, especially your BFA, is all about, is figuring out what inspires you. And that's very hard. I mean, it's just like asking yourself, why do I want to be an artist? Or what am I supposed to be doing? Or who am I? It's exactly that. Like, what am I supposed to be creating? And how do I present that to fully emphasize myself? And it's whatever you have fun doing. If you want to paint turtles, if you want to paint landscapes, if you want to paint portraiture, definitely do it. You are your own creator. Do what makes you fully express yourself. I think I struggled with that a lot. I think in my beginning art, I always kind of asked, what do people want to see, and what are people gonna like, and what am I, how do I know what is this going to react or have other people react to? I was really heavy on like what other people thought of my art. And again, it wasn't until going back to college after COVID and kind of facing that reality of art. My art is for me. Your art is for you. You need to create your own art. How it makes you feel happy and how it makes you feel at the end of the day. And sometimes that can be really hard. It can be really emotional. But it's also so relieving and so much fun to be able to have that superpower, to be creatively enhanced and put your thoughts and ideas and your emotions and pain and feelings into a canvas, into a sculpture, into music, and have it be exactly who you are. Your art is who you are, and you need to be able to be strong enough to present that. So I think that's the advice I would give, is be who you are and don't be afraid to put that onto a canvas.
Have you ever considered starting a support group or mentorship group for other artists? You have such a, like a calmness to you that could help others kind of bring out the best in them. And that's the teacher hat I hear being put on right now as we speak. But it would be so cool to have, your own art group where, you do roundtable talks and you guys come together and just talk about some of the challenges and struggles as an artist, and you can give, advice from a professional level because you have the degree in it, you have the education, you're a teacher in this field, and you have a lot of wisdom and expertise that you could share with other artists, even myself, that could benefit from what you do.
Yeah, well, thank you. Like, I feel
you're welcome.
Really I feel like I'm still learning.
You're doing phenomenal.
Yeah. I do often do that with my students, and I am outlets for some of them who are struggling, who need someone to talk to. But as for like other artists who are peers and colleagues, I haven't thought of it, but I think it would be great. I would love to kind of open that environment, open that opportunity to other people to really express themselves. I mean, if I have to be the one to do it, I definitely will.
Thank you so much for sharing your story and your process and just everything that is related to Worthless Smiles. Is there anything you want to, in addition, that you want to share about the painting?
About the painting, I mean, again, how I say it, honestly, that painting means so much to me.
Mm-hmm.
I've gotten offers over the years, or people who are interested in buying it, and um, they didn't always work out. And honestly, at the time I was a little upset, like, oh, why doesn't anyone want to buy this? But I, I don't think I could ever pass with it. It just means so much to me to have that painting. I mean, it's hanging up in my house
Mm-hmm.
right now.
I was going to ask, are you going to sell it one day? Is it available? Sounds like
I doubt
it's
that.
yours. Yeah.
Yeah, it means so much. I'm more than willing to let anyone borrow it. A museum who wants to sell it. It's such a powerful piece that I
Yes.
love so much, and I've made a couple pieces that like have tried to reach that same feeling. And I
Mm-hmm.
definitely have paintings that have similar kind of themes and ideas and caricatures of myself.
Mm-hmm.
But I think because that piece was such a life-changing moment for me, it's just so
Mm.
powerful. And
Yes.
I mean, I want to thank you again for showing it and giving another light for other people to really see it and connect with it. So thank you.
Yes, you're welcome, of course. So, looking ahead, what's next for you as an artist?
So what's next? I'm actually currently doing a residency in Flagstaff, Arizona. It is ending in a week at the time of recording, but I am going to be posting pictures and just my time here. It's been so much fun. I'm a week into it. I have an exhibition next week with my other colleagues that are here. There's 5 other
Mm-hmm.
artists who are also talented, and this is just one of the opportunities that I was able to get, and it's been so much fun. I mean, coming from since being in global expressions and being a featured artist, I've gotten opportunities to be in magazines. I believe Penn State featured
Really?
me in one of their magazines for one of my art pieces. And it's been so much fun. And I got a teaching
Wow.
position from being an artist as well. Um, it's at a school who kind of specializes in more
Mm.
professional kind of direction in life. So
Mm-hmm.
I think they kind of saw my professionalism in art and really connected with it. And I was so excited. I immediately accepted it. But yeah,
Wow.
that's just a couple of the things.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, you came back out, of the shell over there.
Mhm.
You put yourself out there, and that's what happens when you pursue what you love. I'm so happy
There
for
have
you.
I just wanted to say there have been no's, like as much as every artist,
Mm-hmm.
like you have to present yourself and take all these opportunities as much as you can. And I have received a lot of no's from Call for Arts and residencies and even job offers that I've
Mm-hmm.
interviewed for. So it's not easy. I think I think I'm just like a happy-go-lucky person that I just like always present. Oh my gosh, my life is amazing. And
No, it's
and it
not
is.
always easy.
It's
Yeah, I
not.
mean,
It really
yeah.
isn't.
I've
I
gotten
mean,
more no's than yes. To be honest, in my own
exactly.
artist journey,
Mhm.
I've gotten a ton of no's, and I was
It's
like
hard.
super bummed. Yeah, but I'm like, now I'm so used to it. I'm like, whatever. I just pick up and keep going and doing my own
Exactly.
thing. Because you know
And
your
that
worth
goes,
at the end
yeah.
of the day.
And that goes back into like believing yourself and knowing who you are and knowing what you want to share. You just got to keep on doing it. And
Right.
eventually someone is going to say, I would love to have you on a podcast and feature you in my digital exhibition. And I
Yes.
mean, yeah,
Well, thank you so much for being on the show because I
of
love to
course.
talk to other artists. And as you know from season one, I could just ramble on by myself all the time. But I said this has to be dedicated for other amazing artists out there. How can people contact you?
So to contact me, probably the best way is to contact me through my Instagram. My Instagram is currently Christian_Lubarsky-Ford. Lubarsky is hard to spell. Lubarsky Ford. Ford. But please look at my art, follow me. I'm always trying to like post as much as my art as possible. I don't have a website yet. Yet is a very
Mm-hmm.
key word. I'm still starting out. I just graduated like in December with my BFA, so I'm still kind of like picking myself up and like trying to become an artist.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think my Instagram is probably the best way to find me. You can also email me if you'd like. My email's Christian Lubarsky at gmail.com. That's pretty easy, but please feel free if you want advice, if you just want to talk to me, if you're interested in one of my pieces, or if you're just like really interested in what I'm doing. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
totally anything.
Is there anyone you want to give a shout out or any special thank you regards that you want to share before we close out?
Yes, so I want to thank my parents, especially my mom and my dad. My mom, Monica Lubarsky-Ford, and my dad, Daniel Lubarsky-Ford. They're the ones, again, that convinced me to go back to college and supported me through that journey, along with my
Mm-hmm.
grandparents, Sandra and Marcus Lubarsky-Ford. They mean so much to me, and honestly, I could not have started this journey without them, and I feel just almost like the luckiest person to have them. I also
Mm-hmm.
want to give the my biggest shout out to my fiance. We're
Mm-hmm.
just newly engaged. Probably like 2 months ago, I proposed in
Mm.
Paris.
Wow.
And I love you so much. He's
Mm.
gonna listen to this later.
Yeah.
So again, Owen, I love you so much. You are like my biggest supporter. He's always like holding up a sign and being like, "You're the best. You're the amazing." Um,
Mm.
so I love him so much for his energy, for just being him, and I feel like the luckiest person just because the people who surround me are just
Mm-hmm.
like the biggest heroes of mine, and they're always there to pick me up when I'm down, and I don't want to get emotional. They're just
Oh,
so amazing. So thank you
yes.
to all of them.
So it's amazing to have people in your circle that supports you and loves you and pushes you on to be the best version of yourself.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us today for this meaningful conversation with Christian Lubarsky-Ford. His insight and vulnerability behind the award-winning painting Worthless Smiles reminds us that art often carries what words alone cannot express. It's a powerful reflection of the emotional truths many people quietly carry. If today's episode brought up difficult feelings for you or someone you know, please know that you are not alone. We'll have links in the description to mental health support resources, including the Suicide Crisis Lifeline and mental health awareness hotlines. In the U.S., you can call or text 988 anytime for free 24/7 with 24/7 support. For international listeners, you can visit www.opencounseling.com/suicide.hotlines to find crisis hotlines by the country. Please don't hesitate to reach out for help. If you found that this episode was meaningful, subscribe, share it with a friend, and leave a review. It helps us to reach more creatives with stories that matter. Be sure to tune in next week where we'll shift gears and explore how to prepare for art gallery submissions, from selecting your strongest works and writing a compelling artist statement to understand what curators look for and how to make your submission stand out. Until next time, stay inspired and keep creating with heart.